Good morning. Good afternoon, should I say. It's Sunday. Around, let's see, it's 2 o'clock. Been to church, came back, listened to another sermon. Um, and the message that I want to talk to you about this morning is, there's lots of things floating in my head, but the one thing that he's given me this morning is our life is but a vapor. There's been several deaths lately from people I've known. There was a young boy who was killed in a car wreck, and they asked for prayer at church. And then, not just death, but sickness. My son's wife has COVID. My daughter and I had strep. And, things just are sprung on us and not even knowing. Like 1 minute, you could just be living your life and, in a split second, it can change. And it shows us that we are not in control of our lives, that ultimately God is the one in control, and He gives and He takes away. And all the blessings we have are from Him. He gives them to us, and He can take them away from us in a matter of a blink of an eye. In a matter of a blink of an eye, we cannot be here anymore. Like, we could pass away. We could have a heart attack. We could be in a car wreck. We could, fall asleep and never wake up. That might sound morbid, but that is truth. And the more I think about that, the more it makes me want to live in the present, to not live in the past. There's no fixing that. And to can't live in the future because it's not here and you might not have a future, but to really rejoice and be glad in the day and in the time that you have now, because you might not have another day. And so, I was sick. Like I said, my daughter was sick, and I went to work, and she called me and she said she wasn't feeling good. So, I told my principal, hey, I need to leave. I need to take my daughter to the doctor. And, we all get tested for flu, COVID, and strep. They come back and they say, you have strep. And I'm like, I have strep? Because, I brought my daughter and she's the one sick. I'm not the one sick. And she said, well, you have it. And she rechecked my daughter and she said, your test results haven't came back as being positive yet, but they will. You're just now catching it. But the point in that is, I didn't know. I didn't know I was sick. I didn't know I had a diagnosis. And it just changed my whole day, changed my whole weekend, basically, because I couldn't go back to school. And my daughters and I stayed at the house and just kind of rested and hung out. And that was good. I enjoyed that time with them and that fellowship. And, I did look back and say, I had symptoms. My throat did hurt, but I thought it was allergies. And I had a headache. But once again, I always get headaches. I thought that was allergies as well. And so I really didn't pay much attention to those signs and symptoms. And sometimes you'll have signs and symptoms, but sometimes you won't have nothing. You just, things change in a split second. And that's anything in life, your job, your life, the direction it's going. Um, you know, like you could go one day and get in your car and it'd be fine. And you come back home and you go to get in the car the next day and it doesn't start. And you're like, what? It just worked yesterday. And so life is just uncertain. It's just really uncertain and it's all on factors. And the one thing that a lady told me at church today was, it's pretty profound. It talked about like our careers and how God is our sustainer. Like my job doesn't really, it pays my bills, but God ultimately is my provider, because I could lose my job. And what am I going to do? But he will show up and he will make a way. And so that was very profound. It's like my job, yeah, it makes money for me, but ultimately God is in control of it all. Like he can take us from riches to rags in a split second, like Job. He lost everything. And, you can be put in situations where you can lose everything in a matter of no time and not even know it's going to happen. And so what do you do with that? And the thing that you have to do with that is that you have to have your foundation coming from God. You have to know that all blessings come and flow through him, that he is the giver of life, that he provides for us, and that is truth. And so as I reflect over like the course of this past week, it has shown me just how much that God is faithful and he is our provider. And not only is he our provider, but he's our comforter. He is that rock and that anchor in the storm. And that our hope is in him. And our strength is in him. Because literally, if we do things in our own strength, we are weak. He is the one that gives us the strength and the power and the glory. He is the one. He is the only thing in this world that you can count on for sure. Is his love for you, his faithfulness to you. And even when you think, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to us? Why? I quit asking the whys. Quit asking why God me or why God us. Instead, I flipped that question and started saying, why? Not why, but what? What are you trying to do here? When you change that message, when you change that question and you turn it internally and ask God, okay, God, I know, I trust you, I believe in you, I know that this is in your hands and you're in the control and I can't do anything about this. So please enlighten me, give me a revelation on what it is that you're trying to teach me and us through this process. Because when you ask that question and you reflect, then there's lessons to be learned and there's wisdom to be gained. And he's always up to something, like always. And like when challenges come your way and hardships and tests and trials, just know that the enemy knows what God is capable of in your life when you trust Him and you obey and you listen and you don't lose heart and you don't lose faith, because you're going to get tested and you're going to get tried. You're going to have hardship, and just know that's because God is doing a mighty work in you, and He's sharpening, and it's like you're being put in the fiery furnace and you're being refined, and you are like being made into, squash grapes into fine wine, the wheat press. So there's so many things that he talks about in his word about, I don't know the word for it, maybe sanctification, making us become like his son. He has to weed out all of the sin and all of the strongholds and all of the parts in our lives that culture and that we have believed and that we have allowed to take root in our lives. He wants to uproot it all, and he wants to transform you, and that takes some hard work. I always look at the butterfly as a message of hope, because there's a metamorphosis there through that butterfly from, that caterpillar. It goes through stages, and the stages are excruciating. But that caterpillar turns into this beautiful butterfly. But it takes time. It takes time. And if you're going through some stuff right now, just don't lose hope. Just don't lose heart, because you're going to evolve into that beautiful butterfly if you don't give up, if you continue to walk that walk and you learn and you listen and you ask God the right questions, not the wrong questions, like asking, why are you doing this? That's not the right question. What are you teaching me through this? What do you want me to learn? What are you showing me about you that I need to know? And the biggest thing is trust and faith, and just knowing He is our Father. He loves us. He's going to take care of us, and we can truly trust Him. Not too many people you can trust, but I promise you can trust Him. And so just know that everything you have, everything you're allowed to do, has to bypass through Him. Like, He gives that permission. Like, what you have, He allowed you to have. What you don't have, He calls that too. So we just have to trust in our Maker and our Creator. And when you know Him and you have a relationship with Him, you can do that. And it's such a life of peace. Peace even in the storm. Jesus slept on that boat. And His disciples were not, they were a little upset that He was sleeping. But He knew, because He's in charge. He arose, awoke, calmed the storms, and it was like in a second. You never know when that second is going to be for you. Whether your storm is going to stop or your storm is going to start. But the one thing that you can rest assured in and know is that God is in control. He loves you, and He's there, faithful. So let Him be there for you and honor and respect him as the true giver of life. I don't know. This is a really weird message that was put on my heart to speak about. Like, just he has shown me this week that he's in total control. And he's shown me that before. But he's given me peace. And I want you to have that peace. I want you to feel that love. So seek him. You will find him, he says. Seek him with your whole heart. It's a promise that you will find him. And have a great day. Thanks.